everybody. Welcome to the Player's Take, episode 235. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host, Montrell Rice. Montrell, how are you this week?
I am doing okay. It's super hot. I'm really tired of this weather.
I think there might be a reprieve next week. Hold on, I'm pulling up my weather app. Yeah, it's going to be 98 3 days in a row beginning of next week.
Yeah, that sounds crazy to a lot of people, but you don't understand. I am praying for like a 95.
Well,
95.
I think we went over this a couple weeks ago, but the high Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is 107. So, yeah, we're baking down here in Texas, man. Like it's been a bad summer.
I haven't mowed my grass in 3 weeks. It just doesn't grow.
Don't worry. Yeah, I was gonna say, don't worry. It's all dead anyways, man. You're not growing, so you're good.
Yeah.
That's the only advantage.
Yeah, I have a group chat with like my old friends from Michigan, and they were like, "Oh my god, I would love to, oh man, like I would love to live. I would love that summer compared to the winter." I'm like, no, I would rather have the worst winter ever than this shit, bro. Like,
no way. Yeah, no shot, dude.
This is insane, bro. Like,
yeah,
there's still no excuse. At least with winter, you have an excuse not to go outside, and you're just like, all right, I'm gonna stay inside. Like everyone's inside or whatever. If it gets really bad, there's no excuse. You still have to go outside, go to your job, drive in that weather because your job's like it's only sunny outside.
Yeah,
So
I would happily trade this for 2 months straight of single digit weather.
Me too. People don't understand that.
Like,
it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy to people, but I wholeheartedly agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
Bundle up, get my coat on, maybe 2 coats if it's that cold, get your gloves, your boots, you're fucking ready to go out into the world. This, you go outside, you're just living it. There's nothing you can do.
Nothing.
Just let the sweat pour over you as your clothes soak through and you feel disgusting, Just let it wash over you. There's nothing you can do about it, buddy, except go inside.
Yeah, it's actually it's terrible, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I guess if you don't believe in climate change, like this has to be like, and you're living down south, like this has to be like the wake up call.
Yeah.
Like this has to be, man.
It won't be though. This has happened before here. This isn't the worst summer on record,
It isn't? Oh my god.
Bro. Go look at 2011 and 2012. I think 2011 they had 70 straight days over 100 with no rain that year or something like that. So yeah, this has happened before. It's just, yeah. It's been a while. It hasn't been this bad in like a decade. So we'll see if this is a trend.
Yeah.
I hope not. Oh god, I hope not.
I'm looking at September and it's still supposed to be in the hundreds. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. Bro. No, I mean, people, I think we get like, August is always the worst month for the summer in terms of the heat. It's always the hottest month of the year. But September by extension is also really hot. And I think all of us in our heads think like, oh, we just got to get to September and then it'll cool down. Nah, bro. It's not true. It's not true at all. September could be hot, super hot too. It just probably won't be as hot as August,
they got rain in Austin, and we didn't get any rain.
Yeah.
I'm really upset about that.
We're not getting shit, dude. Like it hasn't rained. I think it rained randomly one night like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then it hadn't rained before that. I don't even remember the last time it rained before that. Yeah. This is a hot, dry summer.
You know what? I would rather us have the last summer, and it sounds really bad because it was like really bad though for a lot of people, for a couple people. But remember, we had like a week or 2 or 3 weeks of like straight 100-degree weather, and then it just poured down raining. Like it didn't stop for like a week or two. And I was like, for me, I was like, oh, this is like lovely.
Same. Yeah, I totally agree.
But yeah, so. I don't know, man. It's a lot of stuff going on. I'm kind of like a weather buff, so I like to look at weather shit and like I don't know what's going on over in Hawaii, the fucking hurricanes in California, and the earthquake.
Oh yeah, dude! What the hell with that? That's interesting.
Yeah, and then apparently like around Florida and in Connecticut, the ocean water is so hot that they discovered some kind of flesh-eating bacteria that like hospitalized 22 people or
What
some
the
shit like that.
fuck?
And they said they were just swimming in water. They were like usually you find flesh-eating bacteria in fresh water, but this is in salt water, which is
What
very
the
baffling.
fuck?
Yeah, and I'm not joking. Like this is an actual story. Like 5 people already died. So they're like, if you're gonna go swimming in the ocean, they're telling people like the Atlantic side of the ocean or whatever, make sure you don't have any cuts or anything like that because there's a possibility you can catch a flesh-eating bacteria because
Dude.
the water is so fucking warm right now.
So what? They're
So,
is it what's happening? They're like getting into those cuts into the skin, like under the skin inside the body, and like eating people from the inside. Is that what's happening?
yeah.
Oh my god, dude! What the
yeah.
fuck? What is what? What is?
So they say it's due to the warm water though.
Bro,
So,
fuck the ocean. Can I just say that? Like, fuck the ocean. Like,
but like that's the danger, right? The ocean like getting warmer because a lot of the glaciers have bacteria that are just frozen in time, and if that shit melts, it can just get into the ocean and start fucking shit up.
Yeah. Well, so like the ocean becomes like some form of toxic, and we can never.
It could be, yeah.
Like it's like super dangerous to traverse all of a sudden.
Yeah, it could be. It could be one of those things where it's like we didn't evolve for this bacteria, so now we have to like combat it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be like the Last of Us type shit, where like a bacteria or that fungus like couldn't evolve because of like the weather, the temperature, and everything like that. Like that's a real thing that can happen. A lot of people don't realize that. Yeah. I mean, the Last of Us is pretty exaggerated, but like milder level shit, like can still happen and everything like that. So yeah, man. I think
we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
We think we know, but I feel like science has proven to us many times in our history that as much as we think we know shit, we don't.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Just be careful out there, y'all. And
don't go in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, don't go into the Atlantic Ocean at all. As far as I know, the Pacific Ocean is still okay. But yeah, the Atlantic,
for now.
Atlantic, for now. But the Atlantic Ocean is like off limits right now. So
I mean, Montrell, have you ever looked deep into like deep sea creatures before?
Yeah, I do all that shit all the time. Like
they're fucking horrifying. Like eldritch shit that lives at the bottom of the ocean is just wild. Like the most disturbing creatures you could ever possibly fucking imagine.
They look like fucking aliens. Like
for real, no joke.
They do
not. No, or like fucking Cthulhu monsters and shit. Like, dude, it's oh my god, man. Like
the monster of that. I think it's called on Monster Hunter, like the Gobo. Like that thing is real, but it's smaller. Yeah. But it's real though. Yeah. Like, it looks that devastating. Like it looks fucking terrible,
dude. Like just like the the fucking the anglerfish with the light on the coming off the head or whatever.
Yeah.
Those things are horrifying. Like we've romanticized them in media over the years. But if you go look at a real one, dude, the teeth are like the thing can't even close its mouth. The teeth are like super long and jagged and sharp and they
look fucking scary. Even the jellyfish, right? They be showing them like light up and shit. But I was just like, yo, imagine running into that shit. Like, that's crazy to me. Like just imagine, and it's like this one jellyfish that can form into all these other jellyfish and form like a giant collective single hive mind jellyfish.
Yeah,
and it's fucking weird. It's like some Zerg type shit, and you're just like, that's an overmind, bro. Like, no, bro, I don't want that nowhere near me, bro.
Need more overlords.
Exactly.
We're lucky they haven't gone to 200 unit limit yet. Jesus. Yeah.
That's why
I never want to find myself down that low in the ocean. It's scary. It sounds horrifying.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The ocean is very fucking creepy. Even like just like going deep into the Amazon, even on land. If you go to a deep Amazon forest, like the bugs you find is just disgusting, and the stuff that they do is disgusting. It's just You just
these like
thankful,
slimy ass creatures or
man, like some of the parasites and flies,
spiders
like,
and shit. Oh
like
my
remember
God.
the bot fly that we fought in?
Oh yeah.
Like that's a real monster. That's a real
that's
bug,
a real creature.
man.
Yeah, that's a real bug. Yep.
I was just like, dude, that's disgusting.
No, we were looking at pictures of it. It's fucking horrific. Like, why are these things in the why do they exist? Like, what purpose do these things possibly serve? Like creatures this horrific, Like, I don't know. And yeah, man, it's fucking rough out there. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on the podcast before, but those tree spiders that like jump out of trees onto things.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
Shit. I mean, like the stories you heard about that. I think like people were in the Korean jungle or some shit like that.
Yeah,
and they just jump on their helmet.
They jump on their helmet because they think there's like a decal on the helmet, and they think it's like a bird or some shit,
Yeah.
So they jump on the top of the fucking helmet, and they're fucking huge spiders, dude. Like, these things are like not as big as your head, but their leg span is probably about that large.
I can only imagine seeing that.
Yeah,
I can only imagine. Oh my God.
Jumping on you, and
if you imagine just hearing some like tink tink tink, and you're like, "What is that?" And someone your like squad mate turns around, like,
"Bro,
no, move." And now you're like super freaked out because you already in enemy territory.
You can't even see it. You can't even see it. You can't even see it. Yeah, no, man. That's that's shit's crazy, dude. My brother had a friend who was in the army, like deployed in South Korea. And that was where that like he had that experience.
Oh my God, bro.
So yeah, man. Yeah, dude. It's So there's some crazy shit out there. Don't take your cushy American lifestyle for granted, everybody.
Yeah, trust me, I don't, man. Even outside our house, we got like a fucking big ass weave orb spider or something like that.
Oh yeah, those things get big, man.
Yeah,
I had a big ass one on my bushes, and I remember I was hedging. I was trimming the hedges, and I remember seeing that thing, and it was like I was like super close to it. I didn't notice it until I got like I was really like starting to cut that bush, and I was like, oh fuck, dude! It had a full ass web. And I mean, I'm telling you, it was probably as big as like half my thumb, which doesn't sound that big, but I mean, dude, that's a fucking spider. Like you can see its body really clearly,
This one outside of our house, outside of our window, outside Deanna's window. She named it Arlene, by the way. She's crazy. But this one's probably about as big as my mouse, like a little bit bigger.
Oh my God. Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah,
dude, that's huge.
Big, yeah, we think it's a female because the females get really big.
Bro, so, murder that thing. What are you doing?
It's outside. It's killing bugs.
You're gonna have a whole colony. You're gonna have a whole colony in your fucking house, man. Like
that's true. Yeah, maybe we should get rid of it. I didn't think about that.
Don't tell Jet though. He'll want to adopt it.
Yeah, maybe you can come over here and get it because that thing is fucking big, man.
Oh
I mean, it's been killing. I'll be honest with you though. Ever since it moved there, we don't have bugs like on this side of the house. They don't even come anywhere close to the windows or anything like that. So it's been doing its job. But yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's a dangerous world out there, everybody.
That's
walking outside of your front door. Hell yeah. That's damn right. That's why we're introverts. Homebody introverts, and we play board games. All right, Montrell. Well, let's get into the show. I'm sure, anybody who's here for video games has turned the show off like 10 minutes ago. So for those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And if you'd like to send us questions, you can do so on Twitter at The Players Take, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. We did get some reactions to last week's episode, which that was a very fun episode to record. So that was fun to interact with folks after that. So yeah, if you got an opinion, you disagree with us, let us know. It's always fun to banter. All right, Montrell. Let's start like we always do with what we've been playing. I think we both have some new games to talk about this week. So if you want to start first?
Yeah. So I finally got a chance to play Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, and I actually beat it the same night it came out. It's not that long. Usually these games aren't super long. They're about 8 to 10 hours long. Now I was trying to 100% it, so but funny thing happened. There's this weird bug going around. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's happening on the Switch version. I got it on PC, and yeah, it wiped my save. So
oh shit, what the fuck?
I beat the game. I even got the achievement on my profile, like my Steam profile, of me beating the final boss. That was named the achievement. It said defeat the final boss, and I go outside. I beat the game at like 4 in the morning, and then I didn't touch the game for the weekend because I went to a birthday and I was spending time with my friend and everything like that. So then on Monday I came in and I was like, okay, I'm about to, there's a post game where you can, tag all the streets, get all the graffiti, get all the unlockables, unlock more characters to play as, and everything like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go do that for about an hour or whatever. And I turned on the game and I'm back at like chapter 4 or whatever. I think there's 5 or 6 chapters. And I'm back there at chapter 4. And I was like, what the fuck? So I tried to go back into like the logs and everything and look. And yeah, I went on this like the Steam community page and looked at the forums, and apparently like it's a thing. The auto save function can like just completely bug out. There is no manual save. And I think my game just bugged out. A lot of people were saying like it was happening when they were crashing, but my game never crashed. It just stopped saving. And apparently if you tab out and tap back in, then the auto save just stops working. I don't know why. I had to keep in mind I was super frustrated because I had a really rough Monday and I just wanted to come home and play this game. And then that happened. So I was kind of like bummed out for the rest of the day. But I had to remember as well, I was super mad, but also calm down. I put in like into the forums because they were saying if you have this issue, send us your logs and everything like that. So I sent it to them, and yeah, I was super pissed. But I had to remember this is like a 10-man or 30-man team or something like that. This is a really small team that made this game. So I wasn't trying to be too harsh on them. But yeah, that was like, very disheartening. But this is easily still one of my favorite indies of the year for me personally. I think they did a really good job, like I said, at representing the Jet Set Radio fan base. They satisfied us. They did a good job at like representing hip hop, like true hip hop, in all its different facets and subgenres and everything like that. And like b-boying and dancing and everything like that. This game came out in the 50th year of hip hop as well, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, like I said, even if you're not a fan of hip hop or anything like that, I think some people should still check out the game because you may become a fan. And it's not, like I said, it's not like this new age, dribble that comes out. Even I like some of the dribble that comes out, but it's not this new age stuff. It's like actual old school hip hop and even some new school stuff and like other stuff like that. I blocked this dude too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I blocked him. Well, he said something really dumb. One time I just blocked him because I didn't want to respond to him.
Well, I put him in there for later. So
okay. But yeah, but I still recommend playing the game. I don't recommend playing it on PC. If you want to, just wait till the console version comes out, which is for Xbox. It is already on Switch. But if you want to wait till the console versions like PlayStation 5 and Xbox, it is coming to those on the 1st of September. So just wait then and buy it. If that's my recommendation. But I bought the game as soon as it came out. And I loved it, like I said. I have Tower of Fantasy on here. I didn't play it, so I don't know why I got that on there. Scarlet Nexus, I've been playing this game a lot. And I even made me a little short combo video that I've always been wanting to do, and I did that.
It looks good.
Yeah. And I did that on my phone, so don't judge me. So I did all that on my phone, and I made the combo video. And I'm going to I decided I'm going to platinum this game, so this will be my second platinum once I finish it. But yeah, I'm going to platinum this game. I think it's like I said, always will be it's number one soldier because I think it's one of the great anime games that Bandai Namco has released. Among the dribble that they have released. I did do some research on this as well to see if it was well received, and apparently it did get over 1 million sold. And then like 2 million players, extra million players played it through Game Pass and stuff like that. So hopefully that means something. And the director actually follows me on Twitter now. The game director for this follows me on Twitter. And apparently, like the thing that when it did come out, the reason why people didn't pick it up was because people thought it was a Code Vein ripoff or something like that. And I was like, I don't know how y'all got Code Vein from this game. But yeah, apparently people thought it was a Code Vein ripoff. I will say the demo of the game when they released it or before they released the main game, they had a demo for it. It doesn't do the game justice. There's so many things you have to unlock in the game to get to the level where I'm playing the game at, do the combos and stuff like that. You have to talk to the characters, buy them gifts, and they'll unlock, more bond levels and, more moves for you to do and everything of that nature. And then there's items you can unlock and create or whatever through the little pseudo fucking crafting system they have. And that's how I'm able to do all the stuff I'm able to do. Because it allows you to like kind of break the game. Like it literally allows you to bypass some things that like handhold the game, and it tells you like, well, you can now do this because this is not the third. So that's how I'm able to do a lot of the stuff in the game. And even before that, once you get to like the later level of the game, it comes more open to you as well. But I don't think a lot of people get there because a lot of people don't bother like talking to the characters, maybe because they don't love the cast or whatever the case may be. So they don't unlock the bond levels or whatever. I actually like the cast, so I was talking to the cast and like, listening to them and everything of that nature. A lot of people say they didn't like the cast, which I think, it's a personal thing or whatever. They're not the best. They're not like Mass Effect level written, but for an anime game, I mean, anime series, like I think they did a really good job. But yeah, I was also playing Apex. So I didn't put it on here, but yeah, we were playing last night, and I wasn't having a good game at all. The landings we were having, it was me, Brad, and Snakes, and it was just that's not our regular team. It's usually me, Brad, and Jet. So we were trying to still figure out. I was still trying to figure out where I can fit myself into that team because Snakes was primarily picking Revenant. And then Brad really wanted to play Mirage. So normally if Jet's not the support, I will pick up support. And I'll play like either Lifeline or Loba. But Brad really wanted to play support. So he was Mirage. And then I was like Ash, or I usually go follow to Matt Maggie. But for some reason, like this game was really weird. So I had to go really defensive this day. So I went to Catalyst. And I mean, we got like second place one time, but it was a really rough night for us. We couldn't, and I think another reason too, like we usually warm up in the mixtape playlist, and it was completely bugged. We could not get into a mixtape playlist for the life of us.
How is that possible, dude?
I don't know, man.
I just don't understand this game. Like, how does this game have so many problems? Every time you guys talk about it, or every time I jump on, there's problems. Like, I don't.
Yeah. It was to the point we were waiting in lobby for about 5 minutes before we just said, fuck it, we're not going to get a mixtape. We're not going to be able to warm up. So we went into trios. We tried to warm up in trios. That's plagued with hackers right now. Even like I know we complain about it all the time, but it's to the point where like people are making YouTube videos about how bad, in pubs at least, how bad the hacker situation is. There have been like numerous fucking articles, or not articles, actually articles as well, but like topics on Reddit. Like one dude, I felt so bad for him because he said he was broken. He's like a 50-year-old gamer or something like that. He's like, I've been playing video games for a while. I love Apex, but he's like, for some reason though, man, I had to uninstall it because pubs broke me. I won a game and I uninstalled it after I won the game because it was just so fucking sweaty. I had to work so hard to win that game. And I was like, to win the game and then still uninstall, there's something fundamentally wrong with your game. And I think Apex is just super sweaty. Ranked is more chill than the pubs. Like pubs is the Predator lobby. Like that is ranked.
That's
if you can
weird.
survive that. So yeah, it's Apex is in a weird spot because ranked to me is in a better spot than it's been in a while, but everything else is just terrible. So yeah, they just need to get together. And I find it hilarious that also like they're having all these security issues. And I remember like last season or season before last, their head of security was on Twitter DJing and like teasing people like, oh, you guys can't, talk about me. I'm DJing. I'm having time of my life right now. And I'm like, yeah, but your game is also going to shit. But you won, bro. Like, yeah, way to own us. But yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if they had some kind of major something or whatever next season. I don't fucking know. They need to do something with that game. And then there's also like a topic I put in a fucking group chat where somebody was like, would you guys be interested in a PvE Apex? And I'm like, you mean Titanfall, you fucking dumb fucks? Like, it's Titanfall, bro. That's what you want.
Bro. It's the Apex Legends universe, Montrell. Get with reality. No, that's what they've called. That's what they've called it. They themselves have called it that, haven't they?
Yeah, they did rename to the
it's the Apex Legends universe. Titanfall is dead.
Everybody in the comments was like, "Oh, you mean Titanfall?" There are people Titanfall. There are people like, "What's Titanfall?" And I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, we are that, dude. We are that far out actually from.
Yeah, it's about 8 years, right? Now. Yeah, I think it's about. I think
it's been 6. I think it's been 6.
6 years. 6 years. Okay.
Hold on. Titanfall 232. Imagine. October 28th, 2016.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, 7 years.
7 years. 7 years.
Yeah, that's a long time in video games. That's a whole fucking generation, dude.
Yeah. So
basically.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And then I was playing Fortnite. I actually have every time I play Fortnite with my friends, man, I just have so much fun because the game is so fucking dumb. Like I just don't take it seriously at all. They take it super seriously, but I'm just like, this game's so fucking fun to me. Maybe if I play it more,
like 20 kills, like 5,000 damage, and they're struggling to get a single kill, and you're like, whatever, bop 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 dead, bop 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 dead, and and your
it is actually that easy. But like sometimes the game it stunts me because they have a really really slow reload animation. I think the point is you're supposed to have like 4 or 5 guns on you, so you swap to another gun. So I don't like that, and they have fall damage. So I get fucked up by that shit a lot. I'm having fall damage, but I think the game's just fun and goofy, and I have a lot of fun with it. There are a lot of tryhards in that game as well, but I don't know. It is what it is at this point. I just think at this point, tryharding is a way of life for online gaming, which I think why single player games are just like coming back into the fold now.
Single player's king.
Yeah,
that's where it's at, man.
That's it for me, though.
All right, fair enough. I've been super busy at work and off of work, so I really haven't had a ton of time to play this past week. It's mostly been Honkai, which I've not put much time into it, to be honest. It's mostly just doing my dailies and logging off. And then I did get into Path of Exile, though. The new league came out on Friday. The Path of the Ancestors League, and I'm level 42, I think, in it. And I'm not, so last year I played PoE for a while, and I think I got to 47, so I'm pretty close to where I was at last year. So I want to push through that, so I'm trying to get through this as fast as I can. But the game is, this is it's hard to call this the pinnacle necessarily of the ARPG genre. I think there is a version of a game out there, the theoretical game that could be made that could be better than PoE for sure. I've mentioned this before, the mechanical gameplay of PoE is not it's not on par with like Diablo, in my opinion. But that doesn't necessarily matter in an ARPG because we haven't seen a game marry the two together. And until we see that, I think games like PoE are going to continue to be popular, where they get all the character building and statistical systems and the skill trees. They get all that shit right. And they can kind of get away with the gameplay side not necessarily being that great. Grim Dawn has the same situation to me. So until we see a game that has the gameplay of Diablo 3 or Diablo 4 and honestly, I'd probably say Diablo 3. Like, it's fucking weird that I feel that way, but I actually think Diablo 3 is like feels better to play than Diablo 4. Is that fucked up? Like, am I fucking crazy for that?
I don't think so. I have a lot of issues with Diablo 4, so
yeah. So a game with that gameplay married to statistical systems and leveling systems like PoE and Grim Dawn, until we have that game for real in our hands, that kind of game, nothing's gonna trump PoE, I think, for most people. So it's it's a super deep game. It's super intimidating. It's really hard to get into. If you're gonna go in blind, good luck. You're gonna fuck your first character up probably. But I am following a guide. I kind of just want to get into the flow of the game and get a character that can actually do stuff at end game and kind of get an understanding of the gameplay systems, the stats, the way the stats work, what stats are important, which ones aren't, that kind of thing, which defensive statistics to really focus on to make your character, tanky and actually able to survive in combat. So that's kind of why I'm doing that. I will likely make a second character after this first one and maybe probably try to make my own build out of that one, is my kind of thought process there. So but I think the other thing this game gets right though is the loot is honestly for the most part really good in this game. I feel like I'm getting very consistent upgrades every once in a while, it's not like I'm not going 20 levels without replacing certain pieces of gear. Like, I'm getting upgrades pretty consistently every level or two. And that is important in an ARPG. You don't want it to be a situation where you're sitting on the same gear forever, and I think Grim Dawn has this problem a little bit where you'll eventually get a piece so good that you never find a replacement for it until you get to a hard level break point where the stat budget for the items goes up. That's the only way that item can be beaten is by getting out of the kind of the stat budget range you're in for the levels you're in. PoE I think is a little bit more consistent with that, and it feels good, And I think the other thing is the way the game does loot. Your inventory is so small that you need to be very specific on what you pick up. You shouldn't be picking up everything. There's no way. You're going to be going back to town every 2 seconds. So I really only pick up things that my character would use potentially. And because the other thing is this game doesn't have gold. There's no currency called gold in the game. So when you sell things to vendors, they basically give you these currency items that when you combine them together become an item that you use to do something to a piece of equipment. So there's some that will take a normal item, right? It's a white item with no affixes at all. So it'll have no special stats on it or anything like that. There are these currency items that let you, make that item with no stats, turn it into a rare item that's got, random affixes or something like that. So there's tons of ways to manipulate gear in PoE. And I think that's a big reason why it's so appealing to people, is that there's multiple routes to power in this game. It's not just reliant on the loot that drops for you. And I think that is also a big component to ARPGs, that you have multiple ways to viably get equipment. And some games don't get that right necessarily. Like Diablo 3 is a good example of that. There was, dude, if you didn't get drops, that was kind of it in that game. You couldn't really craft anything that was any good. They got rid of the auction house, so that wasn't an option anymore. And even when it was there, it wasn't a great option. It didn't really feel rewarding. So it's a well-made game in that regard. I am playing a Shadow. I did get my Ascendancy class yesterday, so I'm an Assassin now. And I'm focusing on a Poison build. But this is the part of the game I don't like, though. And I'm really hoping PoE 2 fixes this, because I think I mentioned this when that game was announced, but the game is built around skills, and skill gems and slotting those into your gear, and you get your ability loadout from those skill gems. So you don't learn abilities naturally. You don't get them from the skill tree. The skill tree is just all passive stuff that are inherent bonuses to your character. So the way you get skills is they just drop. You'll get them from quests sometimes. You can buy them from vendors as well. There's multiple ways to get these. And you'll equip them into your gear. Your gear will have gem slots, and you'll be able to equip them, based on their color into the gear. So what ends up happening in this game, though, or what the game from a gameplay standpoint is kind of rigid. And I don't, there like melee combat in this game, the idea that you like whack things with your weapon is just not anything that happens in this game. At least as far as I've seen. Like I'm playing a rogue basically, right? Like an agility, a character, dual wielding agility character. And the way to play the class generally, like all the builds that are good are literally like they're basically just spellcasters that are agility focused, So what my build is right now is I have a dagger and then I have a shield. I'm a rogue with a shield, and I have an ability that is like a cone AoE attack in front of me, and it's just basically a spell. It's just like Fan of Knives though. But it's like, it could be anything. It could be like Cone of Cold. It could be a fucking fire spray, something like that. But it just so happens to be me throwing a cone of knives out, So I'm basically a glorified spellcaster in this regard. And this is where the game like loses me, is that the gameplay is so boring at times because of the way the builds are. So that's the thing I need to explore next after I'm kind of finished with this character, like getting this character done, is that I don't really like my gameplay style with this character. I don't find it fun. I don't think it's engaging. Like I don't like the idea of being a rogue that doesn't hit things with my weapon. I think that's fucking weird. Like I don't want to be a fucking mage basically. Like that it's an annoying aspect to this game, for as good as it is. That seems to be the kind of mode of operation, because even like the warriors that I've seen, the kind of strength focused classes, they tend to just use like an ability, and it's the same thing. It's like you're basically just casting a spell over and over and over again, and it's like a ground slam, that's like an AoE in front of them or something like that. But there's no cooldown on the ability, so they just spam it. You're not actually hitting anything with your weapon. It's like, I don't know, like, because Grim Dawn has a different style where there are builds where you are a spellcaster, where you like cast spells and you're ranged or whatever, but the game has a lot of auto attack modifying skills where you replace your auto attack with this skill, and it is your auto attack. It's just super enhanced, like it has extra critical strike, or it does a different type of damage, like it might do elemental damage versus physical, or poison damage versus physical, or something like that. And it tends to have all these modifying skills attached to that auto attack modifier that change it in other ways. Like you'll have a chance to proc a special type of hit every time you auto attack, where it might be an AoE attack, where you hit like 5 enemies instead of 1, with your auto attack. So I like that style of gameplay a little bit more than what I'm playing with here. I need to do more research. It might be a thing that I've just not found it, but every time I watch anybody play PoE, or I watch any video of anybody playing PoE, everybody's basically just a fucking spellcaster, essentially. That's just the way the game ends up playing. And yeah, I got to find my niche somewhere in there of what gameplay style I like. But what I saw from PoE 2 is a lot more encouraging, because the person playing that, they were playing a monk. They were actually hitting the bosses they were fighting with their weapon. So that was a huge portion of what the gameplay was in that gameplay demo from a few weeks ago. So that's my hope with the sequel. That's where I'm kind of hopeful that they kind of advance that. That seems to be, it's something they mentioned, that it's an area of focus for them. They want to make melee combat better, and make it actually be a thing. So that's kind of my hope. But yeah, I mean, it's a great game though, regardless. If you like ARPGs, you like that really nerdy statistical, kind of character building aspect of ARPGs, like this game is a fucking just playground for that kind of shit. So, yeah, it's a good game. It's a really good game. Montrell, you have any interest? Would you play it with me? We can co-op.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Diablo. I was really trying to get into AR. It seems like I don't know. Maybe ARPGs aren't my genre. I'm starting to think that. Man.
Well,
Every time I get into one,
I know you're a very gameplay focused person, you know.
yeah.
And many of the ARPGs that I love and that I've talked about that are really good, they don't have great gameplay. Like that's not the strong suit, you know.
Yeah.
Grim Dawn, PoE, like that's kind of an issue for the genre a little bit. But I don't know. I think if you could get deep enough in one where you could start seeing these statistical systems start to come into play and really like, get rewarded for your build choices, I think you'd probably be able to get into it. But that can take a while depending on the game. So
Yeah, I just need something to hold me. Because even though it's not an ARPG at all, Scarlet Nexus is actually fucking trash at the beginning of the game. But I had to put in like work to get to where I wanted to get it to. So I don't mind putting in work for a game, but I just want the payoff to be there as well. Yeah, that's all I want. That's all I want is the payoff. I feel like the only ARPG I had fun with, unironically, is probably everybody else's worst ARPG is Diablo 3. Like I had so much fun playing that, and Diablo 1.
yeah,
I had so much fun playing.
Dude, I've told that's the peak. Games. That's like the peak of ARPG gameplay. You know, like moment to moment gameplay. You know, was probably that game.
And I just want a game where I can have like a really deep system, but also have a really good gameplay as well. I haven't really found it yet, unfortunately.
Word. Well, I wish somebody would play with me, but alas, it's destined to play by myself. It's all right. We got Armored Core coming in 2 days, so we'll be. I'm sure we'll both probably be playing that here coming up. So, all right. Well, that is all I've been playing. So let us move on into the news, and we actually have some interesting news. So there was Gamescom happened. Or is happening right now. The opening night happened. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
Yesterday.
Yeah. And there was a lot of trailers in that. We're only going to cover 3 because there was release dates attached to a couple of them that we want to talk about, and then one of the games Montrell is actually interested in that I am surprised about. But we're going to start actually away from Gamescom with. PlayStation, they announced a new device today, and it is called the PlayStation Portal. So this has actually been rumored for a while, but now that it's coming, it's interesting to see. So it is called the PlayStation Portal Remote Player. It is basically a DualSense controller with a screen in the middle of it. Like they literally just took a fucking butcher knife, cut a DualSense in half, and put a screen on it. So that's basically what it is. Like that's what it looks like essentially. The touchpad is gone. There's no touchpad. But it's the 2 sides of the controller. Otherwise, and it looks good. The idea of this thing though is that it is not a handheld in the sense of being like a Switch or a Vita or anything like that. It's not a dedicated device where it plays its own games natively. It is a remote play device accessory for your PS5. So on Wi-Fi within your home, you will be able to play PlayStation 5 games via remote play to this device. And it's basically dedicated for that. The screen is capable of 1080p resolution at 60 FPS. It is supposedly they're targeting battery life similar to the DualSense controller, so somewhere between 7 to 10 hours. And it will not be able to stream games though through like PlayStation Plus Extra or Premium. Games that are designated as stream only games, it will not be able to play those, weirdly enough. Okay, that is weird. That is a weird omission, but it's a small subset of games. It is intended for games that are installed on your console, basically, that you're playing. It will be $199.99 in the US. And yeah, I don't think that did they give a release date? I don't think they did. Yeah, I don't think they gave a release date for it quite yet. And the one big other thing though, this is kind of a big downside for me is they're creating a proprietary headset basically pairing method with this device. It is not going to have Bluetooth capability. So if you want headphones, you will have to buy what they have introduced here, the Pulse Elite wireless headset or the Pulse Explore wireless earbuds, in order to play with headphones on this device. I do believe it will have its own speaker if you don't want to use headphones or don't want to pay for their headphones. And it does have a 3.5 millimeter audio jack for wired audio as well. So that is actually a good option that I will personally take advantage of if I pick one of these up. So that's the gist of it, Montrell. What do you make of this thing?
So I'm on the fence with it. One part of me is like, this is stupid. That's what one part of me is saying. But the other part of me is like, I actually probably want it because I can use it for myself as far as like, what I usually do now is I usually start like winding down before I actually go to bed. So like around 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And, this would kind of fit my lifestyle where I can like kind of play the game in the bed.
Yeah.
And then just turn it off and go to sleep,
Yeah.
Cause there is times where I don't want to play my Switch. I just want to continue playing my PlayStation, or I want to play it up front while I'm watching some kind of TV or something like that, or while I'm spending time with my wife watching TV or, whatever the case may be. And she doesn't like sitting in my room with me. So like I can actually talk and play the game at the same time. So I can talk to her and play the game at the same time in the other room or something like that. Cause she doesn't really like my room, where the game is at. So for me personally, this will be okay. I'm assuming it's not going to be that much latency, because I've read the article in it and people are saying like the latency is virtually not even there. And I have a gigabyte connection, so I'm assuming that's why they want a dedicated like game onto your console, so that when it's transferring the bits and stuff like that, it won't have that much latency in between it.
Well, this is also within your network, right? So your actual internet connection is not going to matter at all here. It's going to be what your router in your home is capable of.
Yeah. So, I think that's going to be cool. I think it's cool. I don't like the price tag. I think it should be like $150 or maybe $100. I know that's like steep,
yeah,
because you can buy like the backbone and do the same thing.
Yeah, but the backbone is for your phone.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a difference.
Yeah, there is a difference, and that may cause a lot of latency issues as well. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, and I don't feel like buying a whole new phone to just play video games on. If that makes sense. So
yeah.
Well,
the screen's also 8 inches, which is that's way bigger than your phone. So it's I mean it's like Switch size or even it's like Switch OLED, I guess, probably size.
Yeah.
In terms of screen size. But this thing is fucking tailor-made for me. I am still a pretty heavy handheld gamer. The thing is I don't play my Switch enough, but if there were games I wanted to play on it, I would play it a lot. I love handheld gaming even at home. It is great. It is a great way to multitask when you're like watching a show or watching something on YouTube and you want to game at the same time. Sometimes playing on console is not the best experience for me. The way my room is set up, I can't like watch the video and like have the video on my periphery and play my game at the same time because of just the way the angle towards my TV is. Where meanwhile with this, I could be facing the screen and like watch like playing my game, but like peripherally be able to see what's going on my desktop as well. So yeah, I love this thing. I am very happy with the fact that PlayStation and Sony didn't go like they didn't let scope creep happen with this thing. It looks like they're not trying to make it fucking boil the ocean. It's not actually a handheld. They're not trying to make it be its own device. It is an accessory to the PlayStation 5. And I think that is the correct approach. I agree with you though. The price point is disappointing a little bit. I have to say I'm surprised though a little bit. I think
I thought they were gonna charge like $300 or $400,
$250 or something, or $300. And I think they have to realize if they go anywhere approaching those numbers, you're getting into Switch territory where it's like, why the fuck would I buy this when I could go buy a Switch OLED for the same price, where I could get an actual game console, you know? Now I do agree with you though. I think 150, and this thing is a fucking instant buy for me. 199, I'm like on the fence. I don't know if I'm gonna get this day one. You know, I'm like, I want it. I think I will use it a lot. It may change the way I play games in my house. Actually, like I may be like you, where I actually go, you know, play in bed. Whereas I don't, you know, I can't do that today with, you know, the way things are set up now. I think the other appealing thing for me though is I classify games in my head, and maybe this is stupid. You know, this is just who I am though. There's certain types of games that I look at as handheld games versus console games, you know. And for me, I play a lot of strategy RPGs, and those games, generally speaking, to me are handheld games. You know, they're grindy ass games, tons of battles. Like Tactics Ogre is a perfect example of this. I can only play those games for so long on my television. Like they're just not conducive to that experience for me, because when I'm playing a game on my TV, I'm looking for something immersive, you know, like The Last of Us or some kind of game that has a really good story, you know. I'm looking for that kind of experience. Like Xenoblade's a good example too on the Switch side. Like I dock my Switch when I play Xenoblade. I don't dock my Switch. Like there's very few games I dock my Switch for, but Xenoblade's one of those games, right? Because it's a story focused game, you know. And I want that experience on the TV. I don't want it in handheld form. So, but a game where I'm not even paying attention to the audio, I don't really care about listening to it. Yeah, dude, like a handheld's perfect for that kind of thing. So I think that's the other advantage for me. You know, I sent this to my brother earlier, and him and I are pretty similar in this way, and he's like fucking over the moon about this thing. So yeah, it's I think it's a good product. I think a lot of people are I don't know. People just can't like accept something for what it is. Like they're like mad that it can't play games natively. They're mad that it won't play like the games that are streamable. And it's like, dude, like, I feel like Sony actually showed some restraint for once, you know, and they priced the product kind of appropriately at the same time. Like as much as I think it would sell better at 150, like 199 isn't an inappropriate price, you know, for it. At the same time for what this thing is going to do. Like, because think about it this way, right? This thing, like I said earlier, this thing is basically a bisected DualSense with a screen in the middle. So DualSense is already selling for $70 to $80 right now, you know? So you can't really come too close to that when you're adding the screen and all the functionality and the interface and all that in there, and that R&D that's involved. Like 150 is probably the lowest Sony could reasonably go with this thing to feel like they're making money off manufacturing it, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I that's why I think the 200 price is probably fine. You will probably see this thing on sale at some point for 150, and if you want to wait till then, I'm sure that day will come at some point. Now, my question to you is though, do you think this thing will be successful?
No. I see a lot of people saying they don't want it. They don't need it. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be that successful. It may surprise me though. Maybe a lot of people out there like us. But as of right now, I don't think
there are. I think we're kind of a niche actually that this appeals to.
As of right now, I don't see anyone else trying to pay for it or buy it at this moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think that proprietary wireless audio technology that they're doing with this is a big hit to its appeal. I think if you could just take any old headset that's Bluetooth and plug it in, like, you know, it's connected to this thing and use it, I think it would be a lot more appealing to people. But this is like the, you know, the Vita memory card thing all over again, in my opinion. Like they're doing that again. I don't understand why they feel the need to do that. And I could foresee a future where this thing gets an update where Bluetooth is enabled.
Yeah, that is true. I can see that as well. Unless they have the technology in there for it. I don't know. I don't think they have the
I would hope they do, but maybe they don't. Maybe there's nothing. There's no Bluetooth chip at all.
Yeah, I don't think they have the technology in there for it. So I'm not sure though. That'll be interesting.
But the thing is, the headsets that they're releasing are Bluetooth compatible, meaning that whatever is in this device, you know, to allow connectivity to these things, like it's got to be some form of Bluetooth. They're just kind of locking it down so it's not compatible with other Bluetooth devices, you know, meaning that they may be able to release software, you know, updates that will enable the Bluetooth capability. So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
But yeah, it does look cool. I think it looks good personally. Kept it simple. So, and yeah, we'll let you guys know once there's a release date. They did say to launch later this year, so I would think probably October, November, more than likely. I doubt they want to wait all the way until December. So, but yeah, we'll keep track of that. All right, moving on. Release dates from Gamescom. So the first one I want to talk about is Granblue Fantasy Relink. Is finally got a release date, and it's coming on February 1st, 2024 for PC, PS5, and PS4. No Xbox. Interestingly enough. And I've been following this game for a long fucking time, man. And it is crazy that it has taken this long for this game to actually get a release date. But what did you think of the trailer for this one? Are you actually intrigued to play this, or has that interest kind of waned?
I'm still interested in playing it. I just don't know what type of game it is.
I know. They never really explain that, dude.
Yeah, I'm still just curious. Excuse me. I'm still just curious to see what type of game it is, because it actually makes no sense to me whatsoever. It looks like it could be like a monster hunting game. Like, I don't want to say Monster Hunter, but like it looks like it can be a 4-player co-op game, or it looks like it can be a single player. A single player game with like a dedicated party. It looks like it could be like Tales Tales-ish game. That's what the combat looks like to me. It doesn't remind me like a Devil May Cry or anything like that. It's giving Tales vibes. But yeah, I actually don't know. I'm still confused.
Yeah, because this is Psy Games is the developer, right? And Granblue Fantasy is a fucking mobile gacha game, you know, that's like, you know, been super successful for this company. So my theory this whole time, ever since this game was announced, is this was going to be a gacha game, but that's not really clear. I don't think that's true even at this point, because nothing they've ever shown indicates any kind of like rolling system or anything like that, you know. So then what is this game? Is it a single player game that's going to have a $70 price tag? I don't know. Like, they don't even announce that here, really. Is it free to play? Like, what is it? I guess like that's still the idea that is still a mystery is actually like weirdly concerning to me. Like, that they're almost afraid to show too much, you know?
Yeah.
Because if it comes out that there's monetization all over this game, you know, in like December or something, or fucking January, and that they like reveal that like a month before launch, like they're gonna murder this game, you know. Because, you know, this game was announced in like 2016, man, you know, and Platinum was originally developing it back then, and they parted ways in like 2019, and that's kind of why it's taken so long for us to get here, because I think they restarted development basically at that point in time. And yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I mean, it looks good. It looks like it looks cool, but I remember when we had that conversation a couple years ago when I said that, you know, if you look at old trailers, the game looked totally different in terms of its gameplay mechanics. And that is still true now, you know? And I just don't know if this game is going to have the depth that people were hoping for. Because, yeah, to me, if it's just Tales style combat, like, you know, it's not that good. That's not that great, man. You know, I was kind of hoping for a more, you know, action game like Devil May Cry style, you know, character action game style combat. Maybe not that deep necessarily, but some in between of that and like Tales, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
mean, I was kind of hoping for something like that too, but I don't think we're going to be able to get that.
yeah,
Unfortunately, I think they just settled on like the tail side of things.
yeah. Yep, fair enough. Well, February 1st, if we see another trailer before then, which I'm really pretty sure we will, we will probably cover it here. So, all right, moving on. The next game we wanted to talk about was Persona 3 Reload is real. They are remaking Persona 3, and it is coming on February 2nd, 2024, which is also the same day that Suicide Squad is slated to come out. So that's going to be a packed fucking week next year.
Suicide Squad is going to get pushed back again.
Probably. But Persona 3 is the game that came out before the series became popular. And I have heard, I've never played it myself, but I've heard a lot of things that it is actually like on par with 4 and 5 in terms of storytelling.
Yeah, yeah.
And just the idea that it's getting remade. I mean, we're basically going to be getting a modern Persona game essentially out of this, and that is actually really exciting. This is probably going to be a very, very good game. That's my anticipation, I guess.
Yeah, I saw some like leak footage of it or whatever, and yeah, I think it's gonna be like a really good game. So I don't know, man. I saw it and it looks really good actually. It doesn't look better than Persona 5. It looks on par with it. It looks like, yeah, like you said, like a remake. Like they're just updating it for modern standards. There
Mhm.
are some things, I guess. My guess would be though, there are some things that are going to be in there that kind of like quality of life and maybe some updated systems that you probably wish were in Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal.
Mhm.
And this is probably going to be like a little bit of a successor of the current model that they're using. So if I were you, I wouldn't play if when I say you, I mean like the viewer, the listener, or whatever. If you haven't played Persona 5 or ever, I would play Persona 5 Royal, then play this because I feel like it's gonna be one of those things. If you play this and then you go back and play Persona 5 Royal Edition, you're gonna be like, man, I really wish I had this from the Persona 3, you know, remake or whatever the case may
Yeah,
be. So
possibly. I could also see it being unique in that both games kind of stand side by side with each other, and they're just different, in the way they play a little bit. But I will say the other thing with this game is this one, from what I've heard as well, has a lot more of a mature story than more recent Personas. It has a lot darker themes, I guess, than the newer games do. Even though the newer games do explore some interesting concepts, but yeah, this the characters summon their personas by shooting themselves in the head with a gun. So it's definitely a little darker in that regard.
yeah, yeah.
But
So
yeah,
I don't know. It looks really cool though.
hmm yeah, no, it looks good. I'm man, another Persona game, huh? That's kind of exciting. I mean, we've been waiting for Persona 6 forever, but I guess they're doing this to kind of hold us over at this point. So, but yeah, it's cool. February 2nd in 2024. So, look forward to that as well. All right, Montrell, moving on. All right, this one you wanted to talk about specifically. I've known about this game for a while. But you saw it during that Gamescom presentation. HoYoverse has another new game called Zenless Zone Zero, and it's another gacha game, but it is a third-person action game. And yeah, so I'm gonna give some context here for people. So, HoYoverse has been around for a while, right? They made Honkai Impact Third. That was their biggest. That was the kind of first game they had that was pretty big. They had success with that kind of led them into making Genshin Impact. And that game is this pretty strict like mobile game, but Genshin Impact was their first attempt at making like a console quality, I'd say AAA gotcha game, and they succeeded with that. Right in 2020, the game is approaching its third anniversary now, which that's actually kind of fucking crazy. But that game is super casual, right? It's a game that has the I guess, capability to have deep gameplay and difficult gameplay, but they just decided not to take the game in that direction, you know. So the game is ultimately their like hyper casual game. Honkai Star Rail came out earlier this year, and that is more, you know, it's a turn-based game, you know, turn-based RPG, like, you know, old Final Fantasy style, or like Dragon Quest style. And that game is much more tactical, I guess, in its gameplay. Like it's there's some strategy to it, you know, in the way you play it. And it's a little bit more difficult than Genshin. You know, you can't necessarily outscale things as easily as you can in Genshin. And the game's a little bit more focused on its combat than Genshin is as well. Genshin is a game that's like gotten completely sidetracked, and they just, every event like is just mini games. You know, it's not like you don't even use your characters half the time for a lot of the content. So that game's become like kind of annoying in that regard. You know, you like roll for a character, and then there's like really no point because you don't use the character to do anything, you know. So they just look cool, and you know, when you're running around the overworld or doing Spiral Abyss, yeah, sure, they might help you do that, but you know, it's not like necessary really. So Zenless Zone Zero, I think, is going to be Hoyoverse's attempt to go a little bit more hardcore, I think, with the game, right? They're gonna fill that gap, I think, with a third-person action game. And this one is also got a higher rating than the other two. It is 16 plus rather than T for teen, which is not an insignificant thing for a game like this. And we can already see that in the character designs. There is a character. There's a lot of big titty girls, jiggle physics, all that shit. You know, all that degenerate shit in this game. But along with that is actually really good looking action gameplay. So that kind of sets the stage for what this is. So Montrell, did you want to give your thoughts on the trailer?
Yeah, the trailer looked really cool. The animation is really cool. I think the combat is up my alley. I wonder how deep it's going to be, and how predatory it's going to be at the end of the day, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. That's about it. It did look really good though. So yeah.
Well, also has some Persona vibes as well with the environments.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it looked really cool. And I like the cyberpunk aesthetic as well. It looks really cool with the anime aesthetic and everything like that. So I don't know. Hoyoverse is really good. I mean, like I said, they did this kind of style in like a Honkai Third Impact or something like that on their mobile version of the game. When I played that like way back in the day, but it was just stuck on mobile, so I didn't really play it as hard as I wanted to. And I was hoping they brought like some type of like, because that's like an action combat game, you can move around and everything like that, but it has like the controls of a mobile game. And I was hoping they brought that to PC or anything like that, but it looks like they're just going to make a updated version of it and bring it to console and PC. So yeah, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, no, it looks good. They didn't give a release date. I've been following this game for a bit. I mean, I am a fan of Hoyoverse's style of game, but yeah, I think it looks good for sure. I'll probably be checking this out when it comes out, especially if you're playing it. I don't know if there'll be co-op or anything like that, but you know, that'll be a possibility. But yeah, this is you were making the joke before the show that it's like, what was it, furry
may cry.
Yeah, furry may cry. God damn it. Yeah, there's a lot of animalist, you know, anthropomorphic animal characters in this game already from what they've shown. So yeah, it certainly looks good. And if we do check it out, we will we'll let you guys know how it is for sure. And I'm sure I think they're targeting this year, so I think it should be out by the end of the year, but you know, we'll certainly find out more about that. So all right, Montreal, well, that's all we had for news this week. I did want to go back into our Guess the Metascore segment and kind of cover a couple games that have gotten Metacritic scores since we made these predictions so many weeks ago. So I want to start with Madden 24. This has come out, and Yeah, we were both wrong on this one. Too optimistic, man. This game currently has a 70 on PS5 and a 65 on Xbox. Metacritic score right now. And we guessed, Montrell guessed an 8, and I guessed a 7.7. I think we were giving EA a little credit for the way they were talking about how this is a make or break year for Madden, and it's kind of looking like they broke. So, we'll see if anything comes out of that. But, Montrell, have you watched any gameplay of this year's Madden at all?
No, unfortunately, I didn't. Fortunately, I've been pretty pretty dark on Madden. Unfortunately, I meant to watch. I don't know if Angry Joe did a video yet, but I'm meaning to watch that one.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he has yet. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's not a surprise. I think we were both a little optimistic. So, all right, and then the next one is Armored Core 6. Reviews have hit for this game. It's coming out in 2 days. Like 2 days from recording. By the time you hear this, it'll be out. I was Montreal was pessimistic. I was optimistic. I was thinking From Software was going to get that bump that Nintendo and Sony get, and hell yeah, they did, man. So I guess an 8.8. And the game's at 87 on PS5 and PC, and then it's at a 79 on Xbox right now. So, I think I'll take the win on that one. You guessed the 7.3. You were a little more pessimistic. You were thinking that hardcore Armored Core style was gonna turn people off.
Yeah, I was. I'm actually surprised. I guess it is the clout of From Software. I actually can't believe it got like 110, or a couple tens. I don't know about all that. I don't know. I got to play the game for myself. It looks like they kind of broke the monotony with the whole. It's like maybe 1 or 2 missions where you are, shooting cannon fodder, but then it instantly breaks you into like some good combat and like meaningful missions and stuff like that. They also have the giant robot missions where you have to like destroy a base or something like that. From what I've seen, I wasn't really a big fan of those missions, but they are in almost every mech game. It's like a mech standard at this point. You got to fight some over the top giant robot or whatever the case may be. But it looks like they made it a little bit more fun in this game. So we'll see. But I do like the environments, the mission environments and everything. Like I said, I wish it was more of an adventure style game. But I do appreciate them trying to kind of keeping it to what it is and, making it mission based. So I don't know. I don't know. It's really weird. It's going to be really interesting too once people actually get their hands on it. Once the main public gets their hands on it, we're going to see very instantly who's going to drop the game, especially when the multiplayer takes off. I imagine this game won't be as populated in a month.
Yeah,
I think there are going to be some crazy builds, and there's going to be a lot of tryhards out there, and it's going to turn the general population or public off. But yeah,
I'm with you. I think a lot of the Souls hardcore fan influencers out there, I feel like are I don't know. I think they're gonna jump into this game, and I feel like they're gonna drop it quick. That's like the feeling I get personally. I think they're looking for a specific thing, and I think Elden Ring and Dark Souls is that.
Yeah. I think so as well. So I don't know. I'm just very interested in it. I mean, I'm waiting for it to come out, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. We don't have too long to wait. So, yeah. I'm assuming you're getting it on launch day. You're probably going to jump into it right away.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Yeah, I may do the same. I need to play. I want to play something new. I've been in this like, I've been playing these games like, old games for like the last like 3 months and shit that's been out for a while. And I kind of want to just play something new. So, I think I might jump into this one as well for sure. But, yeah, we'll let you guys know how it is, once we play it. So, All right, so I did want to do one guess for an upcoming game is Starfield. It's coming out a couple weeks. What are you thinking on this one, Montrell? This one's an interesting one to me. I don't know where to land it.
I'm thinking maybe a solid 8, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the conundrum, isn't it? Like you're kind of hedging, right? You're going more in the middle because I feel like this is either going to highly disappoint or highly exceed expectations, or meet expectations rather. And I'm not sure which one I'm leaning more towards right now because I think the fact that the game is 30 FPS, while didn't have the negative press that Redfall got, I do think when the game is out, people are going to harp on that a bit. And I'm just not sure if that kind of procedural style that they talked about of developing the planets is going to work for this type of game that is meant to be like a, that Western RPG style of game versus something like No Man's Sky, which isn't really that, it's more of an exploratory style game and they kind of get away with that more. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking, I think I'm going to be optimistic on this one, and I'm going to say 8.6. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go high.
Okay.
So are you playing this one when it comes out?
I'm not gonna play it instantly when it comes out, but I do plan on playing it like as soon as it's available. If I'm not playing anything else, because it does look pretty interesting so far.
Well, I mean, you'll probably still be playing Armored Core now. At that point,
I don't think Armored Core is gonna be that long, to be honest with you.
Okay, you think you'll be done with it? You're not gonna do like multiple playthroughs?
I probably am, but once I've finished the game, I'll probably just come back to it every once in a while.
Well, you probably should, because after Starfield, man, it's I mean, the rest of this year is fucking packed. We got Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD remasters September 14th. Are you ready for those?
No, I'm not, to be honest with you.
Man, I don't think I am either, but fuck, dude, I can't believe we're getting a fucking remaster of those games, and I fucking love those games. And then after that, the Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty expansion. Are you going to give that a chance? You're gonna see if they change your mind about Cyberpunk?
Yeah, I actually said I was going to try to give that one a chance, so I'm not too sure. Yeah, I am going to actually buy that game.
Okay. And then Assassin's Creed October 5th. We've got, oh boy, Lords of the Fallen on October 13th. Marvel Spider-Man 2 on October 20th. Super Mario Brothers Wonder also on the 20th. We got a lot of fucking games, dude.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of fucking games.
Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, October 24th. Alan Wake 2, October 27th. This shit's packed.
Yeah, it is packed.
Star Ocean. You've got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Super Mario RPG Remake, Persona 5 Tactica, your favorite, Naruto X Bordo, Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections.
Yeah.
I know you're playing that day one.
Yeah, it's going day one to trash.
Oh shit. And then Avatar Frontiers of Pandora for me in December. Like, fuck, bro. And then it doesn't even stop in January. We got that Prince of Persia fucking game, dude. The Lost Crown.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm fucking in on that shit, dude. So I gotta stop playing like fucking old shit, dude. I need to buckle down, buy some new games and play them. That's what I need to do. All right. Well, that's all we had this week. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we go today?
Nope. That's it for me.
All right. Fair enough. All right, everybody. Well, if you like this episode, please like the show, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at Thundernut01, and the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. All right, that'll be it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week. Bye.